Our story concerns the life and adventures of Don Hancock, son of Anne Hancock, a woman of English birth, and Don Ramon de la Guerra y Blanco, a Spanish aristocrat. And closely interwoven with his life is the mystery of the seal of the Don. As we turn the first page in our story, we find ourselves in the sleepy little town of San Diego in the year 1842.
Oh, Capitan Rodriguez, are you enjoying yourself? This is your first fandango in the Californias, is it not?
Si, senorita. It is my first, but I promise you it is not my last. Never in all my life have I enjoyed myself so much. It is for that reason I can hardly tear myself away.
Oh, then you must go.
Si. The Lieutenant Garcia and myself are to meet the governor in a few moments on important business. Oh, Garcia, it's time to leave.
Si, my Capitan. Senorita, need I tell you how it grieves me to leave your charming fandango and your lovely self, and how anxiously I shall await my next invitation.
I only trust your promise to return is as sincere as my pleasure in having you.
You may be assured of that. And so, buenas noches.
Buenas noches, senores.
Hey, Garcia. It's a long walk to the governor's casa.
Bah, let the governor wait. That fat windbag is not so important as he thinks.
That tongue is going to get you into trouble one of these fine days. You were talking about the governor of the Californias, you know.
Dios. Do you think I can forget it? Ah, it sickens me to be under the command of such a...
Quiet, you fool. The very whisper of such talk is the road to death.
See, perhaps, Rodriguez. If Miguel Terreno plans to make a success of his rule here, he was a fool to bring this army of convicts. They will ruin him. Caramba. If I were governor, I would do things differently. Believe me, I would line my pockets with gold before...
See, I believe you would. But perhaps the governor is honest. I do not like his allying himself with this Americano Juan Marsh, though. But then, what he does is none of our affair.
No, but I will tell you, Rodriguez, who will make the governor's actions his affair.
You mean is Don Hancock?
See, exactly. And I have heard that he is not far from here.
Ah, then he's already showing interest in the governor's affairs. Dios, he wastes no time. Tell me, Garcia, is he a Californian?
I do not know. No one seems to know just who he is or where he comes from. That and how he came by this seal of his is all a complete mystery.
Ah, the seal. I've heard that he brands his enemies with it. Dios, I should not care for that. To carry a brand about for the rest of my life?
Come, Rodriguez. You speak as though the man were a devil incarnate. Personally, I should like to meet this caballero who calls himself Don Hancock.
Ah, so you say. But I'm more honest. I want nothing between us but distance. I tell you, Garcia, I have heard things that would make you...
Just a lot of gossip. Bueno, the casa at last. I trust the governor has not burst a blood vessel awaiting us.
Careful, Garcia. We'll be overheard. Ah, buenas noches, Your Excellency. And you, Senor Marsh.
Rodriguez, at last you have come. For this last half hour we've been awaiting you. Where have you been? Close the door, Garcia.
1,000 pardons, Your Excellency, but we have been detained. A little matter of trouble with the men. Por Dios, these convicts, they are difficult.
Weaklings, perhaps. But be seated. We have much to discuss. Is it not so, Senor Marsh?
That we have. So let us get to it immediately. I must return to my rancho as soon as possible. I tell you, Governor, I do not relish riding alone through this countryside at night, thanks to this army of convicts you brought with you.
Come, Senor, it is not that bad. And what choice had I? Who but these lost souls would find this country even livable?
If that is the attitude with which you came here, it would have been better for both you and California had you never come.
Perhaps the Senor Marsh thinks he would make a better governor than you, Your Excellency. Or perhaps he has a suggestion to offer.
You are right, Rodriguez. I have a suggestion to make. Send this army of convicts back to Mexico City at once, or risk the opposition of Don Hancock.
And just who is this Don Hancock that we should fear his opposition?
Just some young fool who believes himself to be another Don Quixote. Senor Marsh and I were discussing him before your entrance. Why, he's even trying to intimidate me, Governor Manuel Michel Torena. Or so the Senor Marsh says.
Believe me, Your Excellency, he is no young fool. He has made himself a defender of the poor and oppressed.
In short, Senor Marsh, a most noble character, eh? Bah! I hate such men. But come, this is dry talk. Let us have some vino. Carlos! Vino!
See, Your Excellency. At once.
Tell me, Senor Marsh, has the Stone Hancock been an army, or have the men of California backbones of jelly?
Do not mistake me, Lieutenant. He has an army, and a fearless one. It is composed of California patriots. A hot-blooded crew, senores.
All youth is hot-blooded, senor. But in dealing with me, they're dealing with... the vino. Your health, senors.
And yours, Excellency.
Vino is the blood of men. Now let us take a second toast. Confusion to that upstart bandito, Stone Hancock.
And allow me, senores.
Por Dios, on the table. The tiger.
And the seal of the Don upon the hilt.
A toast to that incomparable governor, Manuel Micheltorena.
Caramba! Don Hancock.
At your pleasure, senores. Don Hancock, the upstart bandido.
And you have heard us?
Heard, Your Excellency. Senor, the very walls have ears to hear and lips to tell Don Hancock that which is said about him. And Don Hancock is always there to listen to their story.
So I have heard. But I do not believe everything I hear.
Ah, but senor, do you not believe what you see? And Don Hancock himself here before you? But come, Your Excellency, you are a poor host. Are you not going to offer me a seat at your table? A glass of your most excellent vino? I am both tired and thirsty, and...
You're presumptuous, senor. I do not break bread with bandits. And now, what brings you here? Make haste. State your business and depart.
Shall I hasten his departure with a toe of my boot, Your Excellency?
My business concerns His Excellency the Governor, not his convict henchman.
Dios! Your permission, Excellency, to run him through.
Put up your toy sword, Lieutenant. You might hurt yourself. I told you that this business was between the Governor and myself. And perhaps the Senor Marsh.
The governor is right, Don Hancock. You are presumptuous.
Forgive me, Senor Marsh, for intruding, but word has come to me that you are planning to ally yourself with Governor Micheltorena. I must warn you that such an alliance would be greatly to your disadvantage.
This renegade knows no limits. He's warning us now.
Allow me to warn you, Don Hancock. Do not forget that I am the governor of the Californias.
I am all too well aware of that, Your Excellency. That is the reason for my unexpected visit. I have come to tell you that the people of California will not be ruled by a tyrant governor, nor obey a convict army.
How dare you? You're insulting,
Senor. When you insult His Excellency, you also insult Pedro Rodriguez. For 2 pesetas, I'd tweak your snout.
Proceed, Senor. Here are the 2 pesetas.
Silence, Rodriguez. He's making a goat of you. Now, Don Hancock, out with what you have to say. I cannot spend the entire night in idle talk.
What I have to say, Your Excellency, is both an order and a threat. I, Don Hancock, tell you to either change your mode of rule or leave at once. If you refuse, I shall throw the entire Californias into revolt.
You see, Governor, it is as I have told you. The people will not tolerate such a rule as you propose. And if you try to enforce it with bloodshed...
What? You dare to dictate to me? You're throwing your glove in the wrong ring. I shall have this young fool thrown out of the country before the night is over. And, Senor Marsh, unless you change your tone, you too.
You wouldn't dare attempt to run either of us out of the country. You forget Don Hancock's power over the people.
Ah, I forget nothing. What Don Hancock forgets is that my convict army, as he chooses to call it, could wipe out his little handful of rebels in the wink of an eye.
So you think. But does Your Excellency know anything of California warfare? Have you ever had your men cut down one by one without ever seeing the rifle that fired the bullet?
No, senor. I have not had that pleasure. But allow me to ask you a question. Have you ever seen the rats of Mexico City fight? It is not a pretty sight, senor.
No doubt you are right. That is all the more reason for ridding the country of such vermin. And now, Your Excellency, for the last time, I warn you. Alter the manner in which you have chosen to rule, or leave the country at once.
Why, you young coyote!
You would be wise to heed the words of Don Hancock, Micheltorena. They are not spoken lightly. His power...
Ah! What power will a dead man command? Rodriguez, Garcia, arrest those men. They're traitors, Your Excellency.
Hold your men, senor, if you value their lives. Stand back, you dogs.
Surrender, senor, or I shall run you through.
Surrender? Never. Make for the door, Senor Marsh, quickly. I will stand this scum off. It will be a pleasure.
Look out, Don Hancock. Behind you. Rodriguez.
You fight like the rat as well as look like him, eh? Allow me to give you a lesson. Observe closely, Senor Rodriguez. A mere flick of the wrist, and then...
Oh! Oh, Dios! Dios! He has killed Rodriguez!
Never fear, Your Excellency. I shall avenge the death of Rodriguez.
Later, amigo mio. But now I have other things to do. First, into the corner with you. Now my dagger from the table. I trust we shall meet again, senor. Adios.
Garcia! The stairs! After him! He must not escape! After him!
Gracias a Dios, the door. What luck! It is unlocked. Quiet, senorita. As you value your life, do not utter a sound. I should hate to have to slit your pretty throat.
How dare you? Are you then in the habit of entering strange women's rooms in this manner?
No, senorita. But the idea, it is intriguing.
Leave at once, senor, or I shall call my uncle the governor. Even now he is at the door.
That fat pig, your uncle? Oh, impossible. For such a charming senorita to be a niece.
Dolores! Dolores! Answer me. Have you seen that scoundrel, Don Hancock? He came this way.
Don Hancock? Can it be?
Even so, senorita. It is I, Don Hancock. My life, it is in your hands. And such charming little hands.
Dolores! Dolores! Answer me at once! Have you seen Don Hancock?
No. No, my uncle. I have not seen him.